opposite of that, you also don't want to isolate yourself. You don't want to become like this hermit crab where you're like, you get burned by somebody, and so now you just want to stay inside and you want to cut everybody off. Like, that's not healthy either. So therefore, do things that interest you. Go out, kind of go outside of your comfort zone. Stari. Wait, no, hold on. Starting over with Courtney. Starting. Over. That's my new intro. Do you like it? I don't really like it either. Okay. Starting over with Courtney. That's my new Ararting. Over. That's my new intro. Do you like it? I don't really like it either. Okay, so we'll keep working on that. But anyway, so you've started over, and now you would like to make friends. You would like to see who's out there to be your friend. However, you've heard of horror stories where people take your kindness for weakness and they start becoming controlling, or they'll start to take advantage of your vulnerability. And yeah, so today we're going to talk about 3 ways to go about making friendships once you've started over. And this is really just me talking off of the dome. I'm really just kind of going off of my own personal experiences right now. Point that I make does resonate with you, and you can just like expound upon that if you would like to, if you feel free enough to do that. So the first point that I would like to make about establishing friendships once you've started over is to really don't rush it. That's number 1. Do not rush friendships. So you're just coming out of a situation where you've grown up, maybe potentially being a people pleaser, and you just want to make sure everybody is okay around you because you may have grown up in like a volatile environment with a parent that pretty much blamed your existence, blamed you for just being alive, maybe sometimes. So you've always been in this kind of survival mode where you just want everybody in your close proximity to be okay with you personally. And so people can kind of pick up on that. And then so what happens is they'll see that you really want a friendship, and so they will take that for granted. They may start doing some sneak dissing because they know that you're not really paying attention to it. You're more so paying attention to not offending them and making sure that they're comfortable, so that when they kind of throw those sneak disses in and start making you feel that, where you may not pay attention or you may not notice, like they're stealing your energy, but you're not even thinking about them stealing your energy because you're just worried about pleasing them and you're worried about maintaining a friendship with them, when it should be where you're starting over. You should start trying to pretty much heal, like kind of learn how to be on your own, how to learn how to be content with being by yourself. And so that's why I say do not rush making friends. Spend time with God, spend time in your the Word of God, and just be content with just it being you and Jesus, you and God. And then that is, I think, when your friendships will start to become organic. You'll start making organic, genuine friendships because God will just start placing you in certain environments with like-minded people. You may wake up one morning and he'd be like, go here. And then you might meet somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like random stuff like that you're not even thinking about. Because God is orchestrating that for you in his own timing, in his own plan. So that's why I said do not rush making friends with anybody, because like I said, predatory people will pick up on that. And I've heard of one story where this one lady got out of like a toxic marriage or relationship with like a narcissist, and she ended up making a friend with someone, and this friend ended up stealing like thousands of dollars from her. You know what I mean? Because she was such a people pleaser. She didn't heal before she just jumped into a friendship with somebody after her leaving a toxic marriage. So that's number one. Number two is to, join a group, join a ministry in church, join you could join a bowling league, you could join something that you like, you could join a hiking club, you know what I mean? Join a group that you would like, that you enjoy being a part of, that, sparks your interest. Now, I'm not saying that you're going to necessarily make friends with those people. However, it is going to socialize you back into the world after you may have been kind of in this kind of isolated, toxic family system before you've started over. So you want to just start socializing yourself. You want to put yourself out there. Go out and do some walk runs with like, do a 5K. But you don't have to run it. You can walk it. You can meet people that way. You can, basically do not become a hermit just because, like, the first example I gave was like not rushing into it. And opposite of that, you also don't want to isolate yourself. You don't want to become like this hermit crab where you're like, you get burned by somebody, and so now you just want to stay inside and you want to cut everybody off. Like, that's not healthy either. So therefore, do things that interest you. Go out, kind of go outside of your comfort zone and do things that you weren't necessarily, I want to say allowed to do when you were in a toxic family system or toxic relationship, but do things that you like to do that you would probably be punished for doing, so to speak, in your past life. So for me, I remember I was made to feel a certain type of way. If I joined a gym, like if I joined like a big kind of, what's it called? If I joined one of those types of franchise gyms, like a Planet Fitness or a Gold's Gym, like if I joined one of those, I was like I was pretty much punished for it, to be honest with you. So now that I've started over, I go to the gym now and I love it. It's like, I feel so free to just go to the gym. And it's like, it's not to meet people. It's just the fact that I have the freedom to do that now. And where before I had the freedom, quote unquote, but not really. So yeah, do things like that and just put yourself out there where you're not just in the house all day. Because like I said, that's not very healthy. Then number three, the third point in kind of like how to make friends is to basically, you're coming out of a situation where you probably have this kind of negative loop of rejection that goes on in your mind. So how to combat that is to pretty much try to reject the spirit of offense. I know me, I've struggled with that in the past. So I've dealt with cognitive distortions, which is, I've talked about this in my therapy, but I struggle with like assuming that people don't like me just because they may not speak to me on a certain occasion. Whereas, maybe they didn't see me, you know what I'm saying? Like, maybe, they had something going on in their head that they didn't speak. Or I would think about how, like maybe somebody at work, like they would speak to me one day, but then another day they would act like they didn't know me. But it's just like, you really can't internalize that and personalize things that happen like that, because a lot of times it's not personal. A lot of times it is just something that they may be going through. And a lot of times, it's easy for us to jump to conclusions because we are getting out of that people pleasing mindset. We're getting out of the, taking on the spirit of offense every 10 seconds, thinking people are, having that suspicious mindset where we're thinking everybody's out to get us or everybody's out to attack us in some way, which is not the case. A lot of times too, it could be the case. However, do you care? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what my therapist told me. She was like, I could see if it was your kids, like your kids speak to you, like your kids aren't speaking to you. So then it's like, okay, let me ask a question. Like, are you okay? Are we good? Is everything okay? But like people outside of that kind of space of people that you truly and deeply love and care about, like, do you care to question them and approach them and ask them like, hey, I noticed you didn't speak to me yesterday. Is everything okay? Like if you care, then go ask them. But if you don't care, if you could care less, and that's where I think we need to get to. We need to get to a point where we don't care about people necessarily befriending us because of going back to my first point of being content with being by yourself. That's very important in this journey of starting over. So, going back to the third point of trying to control your thoughts in terms of how you socially interact with people is paramount with making friends, because the spirit of offense is real. And when you're making friends, when you're easily offended, that can turn people off from you. And so we don't want that. And so yeah, I think if you kind of follow these kind of just little 3 nuggets of friendship advice, and I think it would help you just to kind of move forward in that direction if you're not necessarily ready yet to have friends, or you have started making friends and you may have had a bad experience. It's always okay to just take a step back, regroup, you know what I'm saying? Spend some time in with God, spend some time praying. Pray for God to give you an organic friendship that's long lasting, that is where, you know, the iron can sharpen iron type of situation, so that, you know, you can move forward with your starting over journey with healthy friendships. Because in the past, that wasn't necessarily the case, unfortunately. But when you've started over, healthy, non-toxic friendships are a possible thing, and I pray that that will be your portion in the future. So if you like this video, please be sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, just a quick recap. The points that were made today is number 1, do not rush into friendships. Do not rush the process of a friendship if you want it to be a long-lasting, genuine friendship. Number 2 was to, darn it, I forgot. I'm gonna have to just cut this part out. Okay, what was number 2? Don't rush. Oh, I may have to splice this up. Okay. Number 1 was don't rush. Number 2 was join some social groups that you really enjoy, that bring you joy, and, you know, that are specific to what you like to do. And number 3 is to work on your thought patterns and try to deal with the spirit of offense and your cognitive distortions. So that was number 3. Number 3 was like kind of a lot in one, but I hope you understand what I was trying to say. All right, everyone, I hope you like this video. Like I said, be sure to like, comment if this video resonated with you, and please be sure to subscribe. All right, love you. Bye.